Today I'll be making a pistachio white chocolate ice cream. It's going to start with a basic base with, I'm going to be using Fairlife fat-free milk. To stabilize it and to help with emulsification, I'm going to use some cottage cheese. This is 2% milk fat. You can use any variety really. Kind of a secret to emulsification is using dates. I'm just using one date today. I'm going to take the pit out and blend it. If I use 2 dates, it blends up really nicely and thick, but it has a little bit of a date flavor, and this is pistachio. I don't want any date flavor, so I think 1 is going to do the trick. Obviously, I'm going to be putting pistachios. These are shelled pistachios. They taste really good. They're roasted. I think you can use raw or roasted. It doesn't really matter. I saw a suggestion online that you use in the shell pistachios and you shell them yourself. It's a lot more work, but the flavor's better and they're fresher and it's more green, more of the natural green color. I'm not going to use any artificial coloring. Not that I'm so much against it. I just don't like the bright green color. I think it looks better white with a few splashes of green. So we'll see how it turns out. I am going to put some pistachios in my base, blend it up, and then some of them will be used as a mix-in. Same thing for the white chocolate. I'm going to use this white chocolate bar. I'm not going to melt it. I'm just going to break it in pieces and blend it, because it really doesn't matter if it's perfectly all blended. I kind of like there to be some sections of the ice cream that have more of a white chocolate flavor and some that maybe has more of a vanilla flavor. So I'm going to start by using my bullet blender. I guess the order doesn't really matter, so I'm just going to put some milk in. I'm going to put some cottage cheese. I'm not measuring, I'm just estimating. And I'll alter this when I taste it. I'm going to put quite a bit of cottage cheese. I'd say probably 2 scoops. That really helps stabilize it. I'm going to put my date in, but of course I'm going to take the pit out. So I'm just going to grab the pit, break it kind of in pieces. Of course it's all going to blend up, so it really doesn't, I don't know how small you have to make the pieces. Of course this is getting all messy, but that's fine. I'm going to take my pistachios and put maybe half of them. That was probably 1/8 of a cup, not really that much. And then I'm going to put, I'll put my white chocolate in off camera because it'll take me a while to get it all unwrapped and everything. I'm sure you don't want to watch me do that. But this is an easy one. I'm going to take the vanilla jello. I opted to not use the pistachio flavored jello for 2 reasons. I didn't want the bright green color, and sometimes the fake pistachio flavor, I don't like it. I like more of the natural flavor. So of course it's a preference, but that's what I'm going to do for this one. So I'm going to put maybe a teaspoon of this vanilla. This is a sugar-free vanilla pudding. It's going to help stabilize it, and it helps with the flavor as well. So let's see, what else? Of course I'm going to put my sugar in. I'm using this from Costco. It's erythritol and monk fruit. I've had some success with that. It doesn't really have a bad aftertaste like sometimes when you use Splenda it has. So I'm just going to pour some in. Of course, I'm going to taste this later after I blend it to see if I want to add sweetness. Since there's nothing sweet in here except for the white chocolate, I'm going to add quite a bit. And like I said, next, they didn't have any pistachio extract at the store. I was pretty bummed. They didn't have pistachio oil at the store either. I'm ordering both of those, and I will try that in a different recipe. But for this one, I'm just going simple. So as an alternative, I'm using almond extract to give it kind of a nutty flavor, and I'm hoping that with the fresh roasted pistachios will help. I just added maybe just a tiny splash. And I think that's it. I'm going to add my white chocolate, maybe a 1/4 of this bar, and then I'll finish with more milk to the top, maybe a little vanilla I'll add, and then taste and adjust my flavoring. I might add a little salt, I might add a little more sugar. After blending this, I tasted it. and it tastes really good. As I said, a couple more things I'm going to add. A little bit of this vanilla bean paste. Even though this is not a vanilla ice cream, it's a white chocolate and pistachio, I still like a little bit of that vanilla taste, not too much, just a little bit. It adds depth. And I'm going to add a little bit of salt, just a pinch. I think it helps the flavor of many ice creams. And as it turned out, I used 2 of these squares of the candy bar. So I think that's a quarter of the bar. So I'll put this away before I eat some of it. And I think it's sweet enough. So I'm going to add the last little bit of milk to the top. Blend it one more time, taste, and then I'll be ready to freeze. I blended this up again and tasted it, and I think it has a nice pistachio flavor already. And keep in mind, as it sits, because it's been blended, as it sits in the Ninja pint, this is a deluxe pint, it's going to kind of steep and get more flavorful. Of course, once it freezes, it does lose a little bit of the sweetness and a little bit of the flavor sometimes, but that's fine because we're going to mix in the white chocolate chips and these pistachios, so there'll be chunks. And I can always adjust my flavoring a little bit after I do the first spin and taste it. But I think it's going to be good. So I'm going to pour this in here. See, it's nice and creamy. Oops! There's a little bit at the bottom that was not quite as mixed. So I'll get that out, and then I'll be ready to freeze. It's been almost 24 hours, so I'm ready to spin this ice cream. I'm going to take a little bit of this top off with a spoon. It kind of rose funny. It has some bubbles on top, but I don't think that's going to matter at all. There we go. Now I'm ready to spin this on regular ice cream setting. I'm going to do the whole thing because, as you can see, some of the pistachios have kind of sunk to the bottom. Maybe the white chocolate did as well. So I want to mix everything all up, and then once it gets to be almost the consistency I want, I'll mix in the white chocolate chips and the whole pistachios. As I suspected, it's a little bit crumbly on the top after the first spin. That's fine, but I am going to use a spoon to go around the edge and get a feel for how much more it needs. If it needs liquid, if it needs just a mix-in setting, or maybe a respin. So to me, this looks like it's almost ready. I'm not quite ready to add my mix-ins yet, but I am going to run it on the mix-in setting because it just needs, in my opinion, it just needs a little bit. We'll see if I need to run this once or twice. I actually had to run this twice through the mix-in setting, so I probably could have gone with just once in the respin. Sometimes it's hard to tell, but that's okay. It looks good now. Now I have the option of mixing in my white chocolate chips and my, I was gonna do whole pistachios, but I decided to chop them up just a little bit. Now that I see my ice cream consistency is good, if I run it through mix-in again, it's gonna overspin. So I kind of made a mistake in that I should have added it in the last time, but that's okay because I'll just hand mix these. So take a big spoon, and I'm going to put just a little bit, like a small handful of the white chocolate chips and a small handful of the pistachio nuts. And I'm just going to hand mix it. I'm just going to mash it a little bit because I don't want it to be completely mixed into the whole ice cream container because I'm not going to eat the whole thing in one sitting right now. So I'm just going to mix it a little bit, and then that way, the next time I respin it, I won't be respinning a bunch of more mix-ins to make the flavor change. So now I'm ready to serve. So I'm going to scoop this up. Feels pretty good. It has a natural green hue just from the pistachios, which is nice. I like that much better than the fake food coloring. So now I'm ready to taste it. Let me get a small spoon. It's perfect. It's got a nice balance of the pistachio nuts. There's plenty of pistachio flavor in here without any enhancers. I didn't use any pistachio oil or extract. I just used the actual pistachios, and the flavor is good. I think the base probably was a little bit less sweet, but because I put the chocolate chips in there, the white chocolate chips are very sweet, so it's a nice balance. I think this is a good, I'm happy with the result on this one.